Alright, hi guys. I hope 10.1 and 10.2 went well and that you feel good and confident on them and ready to start 10.3. So 10.3 is all about finding the slope of a line. So starting with our reteach, it says the steepness of a line is measured by its slope. So how steep a line is its slope. You might be able to hear my dog whining in the background. She's like, wow, for the first time today, you're not talking to me. Sorry, Maggie. Shh. Okay, to find the slope of a line, follow these steps. So we'll read through the steps, then we'll work through our practice problems, and you're gonna have to be patient as we work through our practice problems because it's going to take a lot of adjusting of my coordinates on my little whiteboard, but we'll get through it. All right, so step one, pick any 2 points on a line, find the rise, so the vertical change up or down, and then for the example, they say it's 4. Step 2, find the run or the horizontal change. So step 1, vertical change. Step 2, horizontal change. 3, find the ratio. So you're stating it as a fraction, rise over run. And then that last step 3, to find the ratio, simply means if it can be reduced, reduce it. So we're going to look at the very first example, which is the top graph, which is what I have on the board right now. They have 2 coordinates kind of marked, so they put dots on both of those. And remember, they said you can use any 2, but the markers that they put are they're going to be the points that they are using on the line. So this line extends infinitely in both directions, but they have a point right here and a point right here. And so our step 1 instruction was to look at the vertical change. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently than the way they have it listed, but it's going to be the exact same. On your paper, they're starting with this point and they're walking down, which is totally fine. But for the point of what we're learning right now, we're learning that slope is equal to rise over run. And so what they did on your page is they did a fall, but we're going to stick with the concept of a rise. We're saying between these 2 points, what was my vertical change? How much did I rise? So if I started here at -1 and I go all the way up to +3, what was my change? 1, 2, 3, 4. So to go from -1 to 3 meant I had a rise of 4 units. So I rose 4. And now that I'm here, I need to say, what was my run? How far did I go to the right or to the left? Well, let's count. It's hard to see where the actual point is because the ruler might be blocking it a little bit. All right, so if I'm right here, how far did I go? 1, 2. I ran twice. But which direction did I run? So we're still on the horizontal, so right, so we're on the horizontal, but did I go to the right or did I go to the left? Notice that I went 2 to the left. I was walking towards my negative numbers. Anytime I go towards the left, it's negative. So now my ratio is +4 over -2, which is going to reduce to -2 over 1, or just -2. So for example 1, my slope or the steepness of my line is -2. Moving on to the second example. Sometimes 2 points are given, such as 2, 3 and 4, 6. Graph both points, draw their line, determine their slope. Now this is what I meant of you're going to have a little bit of patience as I redraw each of these lines. All right, they said 2, 3. So it's always x first. So count over to 2 on your x-axis. 1, 2. And then 3 was our second point, 2, 3. 3 is our second number. It's our y-axis, which is up and down. Count up to 3. 1, 2, 3. And our road map tells us we're right there. The second point they gave us was 4, 6. Because 4 is listed first, that's our x-axis. So over to 4, 6 was our second, so that's our y. So we go up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our point is right here. They tell us to graph the line, which means just draw out your line. And it's going to look something like that. But now they want to know what is our slope. So our job is to say, what's our rise for this particular line? So between 2 points, how many units do we go up? And then between those same 2 points, how many units to the right or left do we go? So if I have a point right here, how many units up did I go? If my x was originally 2, oh, not my x, sorry. If my y was originally 3, and my ending y is 6. So 1, 2, 3. To go from 3 to 6, I rose 3. And now I need to see what my run is. What was my horizontal change? I started at 2, and I ended at 4. So 1 unit, 2 units. I experienced a change of 2 units, and it was 2 units to the right, which is positive. So my final answer is a slope of 3 over 2. All right, let's work through some of the examples where they don't kindly tell me what the points are, so I'm going to count them out. So for example 1, they give us the point at -4, oh no, -3, -1, and then at 2, 1. So those are the 2 points they give us. And then they graciously draw out the line for us. So our line looks something like that. So again, example 1. And they tell us to find the slope. So step 1, we're looking for our vertical change. Maybe I'll use a red marker to make it a little bit easier. And we're looking for our horizontal change. I hope this is still clear. So number 1, rise equals, and our run equals. And you can do it in either order. So let's look at our run first. If we started here at -3 and end up at +1, what was our change in our run? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. We experienced a 4-unit change in our run, or our horizontal. And so in that case, since I did my run first, that's the number I'm going to put on the bottom. I had a run of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm asking myself, what was my rise? What was my vertical change? 1, 2, 3. I experienced a 3-unit change, so my slope is 3 over 1. You can graph these in either direction, so long as you know what one you're looking at. If you're looking at your horizontal change, that means you're with your run and it has to go on the bottom. If you're looking at your vertical change, so up, down, that means you're looking at your rise. That number has to go on top. And the other thing to be mindful of is knowing the direction you're going between your points, especially when it comes to your horizontal. If you're walking to the right, you're walking towards your positive numbers. So your slope is going to be positive. But if you find yourself walking to the left side, negative numbers, your slope's going to be negative. All right. Example number 2. Let's get rid of these red lines. That way we don't get confused between examples. All right, example 2. We have x at -2, +2. 1, 2, -2, +2. And then we have x at 1, -2. Just like that. And then we have our line, boom, boom, boom. And our job is, again, to say, what is the vertical change compared to the horizontal change? So number 2, what is our rise? What is our run? So if we started, we'll move it to this side actually. If we started here at -2 and we end up at +2, what's our rise? What's the vertical change? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. We experienced a 4-unit vertical change, and that's what's our run. 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 units. We experienced a run of 3 units, starting at +1, going to -2. Again, 1, 2, 3. But notice our horizontal change was going towards the left. Left side are negative numbers, so it becomes a -3. So 4 over -3 and 3 over 4. Subtly different, but different nonetheless. All right, example 3. Only I had a soundtrack. Maybe I would have Jeopardy music in the background. All right. Our next one is at 1, 1, right there. And then we're at 3, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 3. Yep. Right there. And there's our ruler. So for number 3, again, what's our rise? So what's our vertical change? Over our run, what's our horizontal change? So if we started here at -1, how many units do we have to go up? And it's simple, just count them out. So from -1 to 0, can't see it because the ruler's blocking it, but that's 1. From 0 to 1, that's 2, ruler's still kind of blocking it. Then from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. We went up 4 units. And again, we started at -1 and we went to 3. So -1 to 0, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Up 4 units. All right, and now we have to ask ourselves, what is our horizontal change? We're here at +1 and we're going to end up at 3. So 1, 2. We only moved twice. And again, we moved to the right side on our horizontal change, so it's positive. And we have a rise of 4 and a run of 3. Or not of 3, sorry, of 2. But remember that last little note, step 3 on these problems is to find the ratio of rise to run, which simply means reduce your fraction. If we have 4 over 2, that can really just be reduced to 2, or 2 over 1. But our slope for this particular problem is just 2. All right, let's look at our next set of examples, 4 through 6. Clear our board. All right, our instructions say, draw a line with a given slope, through the given point. Step 1, always graph the given point. That given point is going to be your starting place. And then you will make the slope. So your slope, again, is your ratio of rise to run. And then you continuously do that to create your line. But that point, so B, 3, 5, start there, graph it. 5, Z, 1, -1, start there, graph it. 6, S, 1, -2, that's your starting point. You graph that first. But anyways, let's actually look at how to graph it. So, draw a line with the given slope through the given point. So number 4. Our original point that they give us for number 4 is the point 3, 5. So that's our starting point. That's where my first point's going to go. X is 3, Y is 5. So start by counting over 3, up 5. So 1, 2, 3, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then put your mark there. Or, if you're me, put your little dot there. That's our first point. But then we're told we have a slope that's equal to 3. Well, we know a slope is a ratio. It's comparing our rise to our run. So it should be a fraction, but they only gave us a slope of 3. How do you turn a whole number into a fraction? Think about it. Do 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 do. Okay, now that you've thought about it, I'm sure you remember, you put it over 1. Anytime you have a whole number that you have to turn into a fraction, to keep it authentic without changing it, without manipulating it, all you do is put that fraction over 1. So now, knowing that slope is a ratio of rise to run, we know our rise is 3 and our run is equal to 1. So we've already graphed our first point. That's our starting location. So now we go ahead and graph our slope. So our slope means we rise 3. So starting at our starting point, which is the number they gave you, we go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And we run once. And that gives us a point right there. And then if I wanted to repeat it, because your slope continues your line, you have your starting point, and then your slope is literally your roadmap to continue the line. I would go up 3, 1, 2, onto my wall, and then over 1, and now I have a continual line. And so with my handy dandy magnetic ruler, boom, I can see what my line would look like if I kept my slope going. All right, on to the next one. All right, number 5, the starting point they give us is 1, negative 1. So step 1, graph your starting point. So 1, negative 1, x is 1, y is negative 1, our point goes there. Let's take these off that I forgot about, and erase these little dots. Okay, and then they tell us our slope is equal to negative 1. We know it has to be a fraction, that if it's negative 1, that really means it's negative 1 over 1. But because our slope was originally negative 1, that means our rise is negative 1 and our run is positive 1. Take a minute and try to think, what would that mean for your rise to be negative 1? Well, if every time our rise has been positive, we go up, if our rise is negative, that just means we go down 1. It's like subtracting 1. So if we were originally here, and we do rise over run, but our rise is negative, that means we fall 1, and then our run is positive, so we run 1 to the right. And now again, let's do it again, because our slope can be done repeatedly. Our rise is negative 1. That means fall 1, walk 1 towards the negative scale. So fall once, but run once, and that 1 is positive, which means we run towards the positive numbers. And then you just keep repeating that pattern, and you'll have your line. Boom. Boom. All right, last one. Number 6. All right, number 6. We have S1, negative 2. Also, I just realized I haven't been putting that letter. That letter doesn't actually mean anything. All right. Step 1, graph the point they give us, 1, negative 2. X is 1, y is negative 2. So over 1, down 2. And that's our first point. Boom. Now they tell us our slope is equal to 2. We know that's a ratio. What is 2 as a fraction without actually changing its value? Well, that means it's just 2 over 1. Notice both 2 and 1 are positive, so all I have to do is go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So here's my starting location, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And look, I have a line. There you go. All right, guys. With that, your lesson's over. I hope you enjoyed this. I think graphing can be a lot of fun. It's kind of like creating your own treasure map in the midst of all of this. So just take a deep breath and work through it slowly, and you're going to do great. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day.